Hey guys, I'm Davina.
And I'm Ishaan, and welcome back to Round the Wall,
The newest and hottest place to hear us talk all things football. So as you can see, we've had a little bit of a change in scenery. We've got this lovely banner here with our logo and all of our socials. So if you aren't already, please do give us a follow on all platforms.
So, to spice things up today in tune with the change of scenery, we've decided to add a new segment which we'll be covering every week. As you can see, we have a couple of shirts behind us which either one of us have brought. So Davina's brought an England shirt, I've brought a Real Madrid shirt. So I know what you guys might be thinking, why the hell has a Liverpool fan got a Sergio Ramos jersey, considering all of the Salah Ramos stuff?
Especially a Ramos jersey.
Yeah, okay, I can explain myself. I have a good story behind it, hence why I brought it. So, long story short, so my cousin, who should also be listening to the podcast, so shout out Niharika, she was actually teaching Sergio Ramos and his then partner, I don't know whether they're married now, yoga for a week. So off the back of that, she goes to me, it was big enough news as it was. She was teaching them yoga, and she goes, why don't you join me in Madrid for that weekend? He's playing tomorrow. We can try and get tickets. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'm 17 or 18 years old.
You're never going to say no to that.
Yeah, day off school. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll fly in, come along. Get there, we just think we're going to get regular tickets. So in her last session with Sergio, he goes to her, oh, you coming for the game tomorrow? And she goes, yeah, we're just going to try and look for some. And he goes, don't worry, I'll sort you out. So we're thinking he'd just, give us any old regular standard tickets. We get there, we pick up these tickets, end up in a box with Sergio Ramos's partner, his brother, and his newborn kid. Watch the game in the box, see Ronaldo score. I think Kovacic got sent off that game. That was when back in his Madrid days. Then, after the game, I'm just thinking this can't get any better. Go to where all the players congregate with their family afterwards. Meet Luka Modric.
Oh,
get a picture with him as well.
You can't just say that casually to a Spurs fan that
Exactly.
you met Luka Modric.
Yeah. And then, to top it all off, he comes back and gives me this, which I don't know whether you can read it. To Ishaan, all the best, big hug. So, despite the Salah stuff, I choose to look the other way because, you know what, he was a lovely guy, and I had a really good time.
That is an amazing story and an amazing shirt. Very good choice of your first shirt. I've got something a little less interesting but still important. I've chosen the England shirt from the Euros 2021. Which did end in heartbreak, unfortunately, against Italy for us. I was just the biggest Kane fan. We'll get onto that later on in the episode. Still hurts me. But yeah, I bought that shirt immediately when we got out of the group stages. But not about the men's team today. We are actually, you've got an England shirt on, I've got an England shirt behind me. We are recording this the day before the England women's team play Australia in the semi-final of the Women's World Cup. Very much looking forward to that. I've loved having the Women's World Cup be such a big thing. Obviously, women's football is growing. It's still growing. I've seen so many clips of the fans out there in Australia enjoying the weather, enjoying the festivities, and rooting for England to hopefully bring it home.
Yeah.
Especially it will be like a double because they won the Euros last year. Something that the men couldn't do, so come on, you Lionesses. Yeah,
hopefully, I think by the time the pod comes out, we'll know the result of the game. But yeah, hopefully all goes well tomorrow, so best of luck to the Lionesses. Yeah. So we did touch on it earlier. There's been a lot of other news this week, mainly surrounding, obviously we'll cover the Premier League games later, but surrounding transfers, both from a Liverpool and a Spurs angle. I think first one we want to touch was, and I'm still not really over this, Caicedo and Lavia.
Oh, I'm going to enjoy this.
Where do I begin? So, I mean, on the pod last week, I think when I touched on Liverpool, I kind of said we 100%, if we're going to challenge for anything this season, we needed a central defensive midfielder. I think the name who was popping around then was Lavia. I was pretty confident we would sign him.
And you said, listen, Liverpool, take the money out of your pocket and just sign him.
Exactly. Day later, we put in a 110 mil bid for Caicedo. I'm over the moon. I love it. I'm like, we're back.
That's big club energy.
Back. That is big club energy. It's big club energy until Chelsea come back in and offer 115 million, and honestly, I put it on Twitter. We've had our pants pulled down, honestly, on both of these deals. I mean, Lavia would have been a really, really good signing. I'm absolutely not against going in for Caicedo. It shows ambition from the owners, but if you haven't had absolute assurances that he's going to come, why risk it? Because now we've ended up losing 2 players here. Lavia, rightly so, has said, well, he feels unwanted, and now Chelsea ended up getting both of them. So it's been tragic, really. Still got 2 weeks of the transfer window left, so hopefully we can salvage something, get some kind of a player. Also, we need a centre-back. Everyone's completely forgetting about that, but hey-o.
Do you know what I don't understand is normally in transfers, what you see is personal terms agreed, and everyone takes the piss on Twitter saying that personal terms don't mean anything.
Yeah.
But in this situation,
absolutely
like you rightly
did.
said, it definitely means something. You have to agree the personal terms. And the one thing that I wanted to ask, why don't Liverpool have the pull that they should have? Because I'll say this, I was discussing this with my dad. Do London clubs have a certain pull that the northern clubs don't? Because we also started talking about biggest clubs in the world. Mm-hmm. Yeah, automatically you think Barcelona, you think Madrid, and I'd say United. Mm. Fourth, I'd say Liverpool.
Okay.
As the 4th biggest club in the world, based on fan base, history, heritage, culture, everything. You think football, Liverpool's in that conversation.
Yeah.
As a player, Caicedo, Lavia, why would you want to go to Chelsea? They don't have European football. They've been in sort of financial fair play ordeals. They've had messes. Their PR as a club is not great. Mm-hmm. Liverpool, they've won the Premier League. They've won the Champions League in the last 5 years. Klopp is an unreal manager, better than Pochettino. And I think if I was a football player and I was in Caicedo's or Lavia's position, why wouldn't I want to go to Liverpool when I know that they want me? I understand Lavia feels slightly unwanted because then Liverpool put in such a huge bid for Caicedo. But what's that about? Why don't Liverpool have that pull?
So, okay, I don't think this is a simple case. I know we've been mocked on Twitter about not having pull.
Yeah.
With the Caicedo one, I'm sorry to say, I know Chelsea fans are... This announcement video, don't get me wrong, it was heartwarming. Seeing him in a Chelsea shirt. That photo was from 3 years ago.
Honestly, with the 3 logo.
They've added some retro. They've added some retro effects to it to make it look like it's taken on. It was 3 years ago. Also, in the last, maybe even the 5 years, he said Arsenal's his dream club, Real Madrid is his dream club, United are his dream club, and now apparently Chelsea are his dream club.
No one's dream club is Chelsea.
So I don't know about you, but I'm not quite convinced by the theory that Caicedo has just gone there because this has been his boyhood dream.
That's a sus statement. No, I'm not convinced.
I'm sorry. It is a simple case of money. And I know, okay, people are going to say, well, no, you bid the same amount as Chelsea did. We cannot match those wages. 250k over, I think, an 8 or 9 year contract. We can't match that.
Chelsea and their loopholes with financial fair play.
And you know what? Fair play to Chelsea. If they have the money and I don't know what's coming down the line. I'm sure they have to be hit by some kind of FFP
somewhere.
But apparently they've accounted well. They've had a lot of player sales, so fair enough. But with Caicedo, it's the money. I think with Lavia, it is a case of he just felt disrespected. I think we poached him for so long, and then just to turn around and be like, yeah, sorry, going to leave you behind. We're going to put in Caicedo after we were haggling for about for 2 or 3 mil initially with Lavia. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's anything about the pool. If you're going to talk about the pool, McAllister, World Cup winner, Man U in for him, Chelsea in for him, City in for him.
Yeah, City were in for him.
Who's he come to? Liverpool. Are we playing Champions League football? No. Same with Sosa. Oh my God, I'm going to butcher his name. Soboslai. Yeah. Same thing. There were links with Chelsea. There were links with United. Again, same thing. Europa League. Still, he comes here. So I'm not concerned about a pull. What I am concerned about is the absolute. I wanted to say a different word here, but probably shouldn't be using that on the pod. But the havoc that's going on behind closed doors right now. 2 class sporting directors have left. There must be a reason why. Klopp's got his German crony, and he's met 2 release clauses, not done much else. So I'm more concerned at that than about us having pull. So hopefully get our act together in the last couple weeks of the window.
I just wanted to say, like, Chelsea have absolutely bullied you in this transfer window, though. And I'll shout out my enemy on Twitter, Astrid Wet, because there's history behind that, because she called me out and she wants to spar me, and I'm ready when you are, Astrid. But she tweeted that Chelsea's midfield is LFC, Lavia, Enzo Fernandez, and Caicedo, and that is just gold. And I saw that, I laughed out loud. I was like, it's just so fitting, because they have bullied you, and it's sort of like every single target that you've wanted, they're like, oh no, we're going to put in a bid too.
Yeah, you know what?
Copycat FC.
I'm not even gonna try and defend ourselves. We have, like I said, we have had our pants pulled down and been embarrassed by them, and we only got ourselves to blame, to be honest.
I mean, Chelsea did that with Arsenal like last year as well. Like do they even have their own scouts? They just see.
No. They'll see whatever's trending on that day. They'll go for it.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But now, well, I think this leads pretty nicely into what I was gonna say. So we might as well cover the Liverpool-Chelsea game since we've discussed the Caicedo-Lavia stuff. So I think, what were your thoughts on the game then? 1-1?
I think you guys had a very good start. You know, Luis Diaz's goal, Salah assist. Second half, I think Chelsea had you. And I was really shocked to see that, because I'm never a fan of Chelsea playing well, but they did play well. And I know you both had like offside goals and everything, but like I said in the last pod last week, your firepower should have put that game to bed. And Salah did have a good game.
He did.
He had a very
amazing
pass. He had a very good game, and he was, again, as he has been over the last couple of seasons, your shining star. And he's that player who can pull you out. And I think last year, even when you were in that race for top 4, he was the reason why. He could take a game where you hadn't been very good or you'd been lackluster, and he could score a goal and get you that point, or get you those 3 points to put you in that top 4 race. I know you ultimately didn't get there, but he is a game changer, and I don't see that changing this season as well. Yeah.
No, I echo your thought. I think we had them in the first, I'd say, half an hour. Scored. It was probably marginally offside, but had that
marginally,
yeah, very, very marginally. So that would have given us a 2-goal lead. But obviously, I think as soon as that happened, the momentum just suddenly switched. I think that deflated us a little bit. Then obviously the Chelsea goal, and then the Chilwell disallowed goal. And then I think that point onwards, Chelsea just built into it. I think it's like top 3 or 4 lowest possessions we've had under Klopp since he took over. So there obviously are alarm bells ringing. Again, the need for a 6, get some control back in midfield.
Yeah, it was also a game which was evident that both of you need a midfield. You need a Caicedo.
Yeah.
If only there were 2.
Yeah.
But
or a Lavia.
Yeah, or a Lavia. Yeah. But one thing I didn't understand was, why did Salah get subbed off 77th minute? I was shocked. You don't sub Salah off.
I was confused. It wasn't like you said. He wasn't even like he was having a bad game.
He was having a very good game. He
shot
was
off the crossbar with his weak foot. The disallowed goal, the amazing assist for the goal as well. The only thing I can think of is that Klopp just had it in his mind that he just wants to give Salah a certain amount of minutes, keep him fresh. I really it baffled me, honestly. I don't know why he came off.
I saw the sub coming on. I was like, why would you take Salah off again? If you're going to take him off, like maybe if you want to save him 60 minutes, why are you saving him for the last 13 minutes? I guess also it might be something that we see a bit more often, taking your star players off a little bit earlier because of this new injury time.
Could be. Yes,
because
that's a good
there's
point.
More minutes being added on at the end of the first half. Again, we'll talk about the Spurs game later on, but there was 11 minutes added on to that one, and that was sort of like they're trying to mimic what they did at the World Cup.
Yeah, I think
that could be a reason.
I think it could definitely be tied into that. Literally, the only reason it's not performance. It's got to be fitness and being scared of it injury related. And you're probably thinking at that point, 1-1. It's a point away against Chelsea on the first game of the season. Like, it's not the worst thing.
It was a very entertaining game, though, as a neutral.
Yeah.
It was a very entertaining game.
And I would say, Ben Doak, who he came on from, maybe just wanted to blood him a little bit, give him a little bit of experience, what it's like to play in a big game. I will follow this up, though. although Chelsea have pulled our pants down in the transfer window, and obviously I think on balance it was a draw, but they played well in that game. Chelsea now, with the amount of spending they've done, and I know they've sold a lot of players as well, they've spent close to £1 billion in the last year now. They should be minimum going for like top 3 this season.
I'd say top 2. They need to be challenging for the league. No.
I don't think. Okay, I think that might be too far. Just
spending.
100% next season they should be challenging for the league. I think that might be a step too far, just because those players need to gel together, and new manager. So I won't go that far, but they need to be in there. Chelsea fans cannot get away with saying now, oh yeah, we're just in for top 4. You don't spend a bill in a year.
If they don't get top 4.
Oh, they don't get top 4, especially off the back of finishing 12th last season. We haven't forgotten about that either. That's an embarrassment.
They need to, no, but it's not even about sort of getting top 4. They need to have decent spells in the cups as well.
Yes, yeah.
All of those players that you've signed, use them. Use your squad depth. How have they got that many players registered? I mean, it's just shocking. Yeah. Financial fair play, knock, Chelsea, please. Because the rest of us can't compete. We can't do it.
You can't.
So, you're right. Okay, fine. Maybe top 2 is a bit of a shout, but
I think... Yeah, they should be comfortably making top 4.
You should not be in that race.
And then runs in the cups, like you said, and then title challenge next season. Otherwise, alarm bells. Like no other. If
no other club would get
just
away
think
with
about
it.
this: if the shoe was on the other foot and Liverpool had spent $1 billion in the last year, people were saying when we were potentially going to get Caicedo, people were like, "Oh, Liverpool are going to be challenging for the title now." That's Chelsea getting Caicedo. They got Enzo. They got Lavia. They got. I know Nkunku's out for a couple months, but he's there as well. They've the Disassi.
Scored, yeah.
Yeah, just ridiculous amount. They've just met the release clause for Elise today.
Oh, that was gutted.
It's absolutely crazy. So, yeah.
How are they getting away with it? Also, are they not going to run out of squad numbers sometime soon?
Surely they must do.
It's just, I don't think Pochettino will also know what to do with all of those players. He's not used to it.
Yeah.
He's not used to having all of these brand new toys. What are you going to do? It's the same way that when he was at PSG, he didn't know how to handle like these star players who were on these high wages, who had high expectations on them. Pochettino, you're coming home with nothing. Yeah,
I was waiting for this.
Pochettino, you're coming home with nothing. And I just don't think he knows what to do with that many players, with that many quality players. How does he... you can buy all the players in the world. If they don't play cohesively, if they don't gel, if they don't have that chemistry, then ultimately it's for nothing. So we'll see at the end of the season.
Well, now it's my turn to get back at you. Another big transfer happened in the last few days.
I'm dressed in all black because I'm in mourning.
Yep. What's his name? Harold Edward Kane, is it?
Yeah, it's honestly really soon after this for me to even begin to discuss the heartbreak that I've experienced in the last couple of days, because we filmed our last podcast a whole week ago now.
Yep.
And the news was that he wasn't going to go and that he was leaning towards staying. Oh my gosh, I might cry, but I won't cry. And then there was talks on Thursday and on Friday, and then on Friday he was given the sort of license to fly, and then in the last moments Levy was like, nope, we want to renegotiate with Bayern. Harry, you're not flying. Stay there at Stansted Airport. Then we had our hopes up again. And then on Saturday morning at 9 a.m, I got that dreaded... Spurs official just posted a video. No, it was Harry Kane posted a video because I have their tweet notifications on and Instagram notifications on. And it was Harry Kane just speaking into his camera saying, "Hi Spurs fans. Today is the day that I leave Tottenham Hotspur." And in a household of Spurs fans, that is the worst thing that we could have heard. And all three of us, me, my dad and my brother, were playing it on our phones. My mum was just looking around the house and she was like, "This is the most depressed I've ever seen this house, the most quiet I've ever seen the house." And we were in mourning. It's a very sad day. Like I'm going on a bit of a monologue here. I've watched Harry Kane play week in, week out since, he made his debut 8 years ago. And I mean, that free kick against Aston Villa, like it's been a pleasure watching him play every week, and it doesn't feel real that he's gone. I keep seeing like compilations of him and Son, and I see like that like iconic Premiership duo is just finished.
The iconic one that finished with no league titles or any trophies.
There's absolutely no need for that while I'm close to tears.
I did say I was going to get my own back, so...
But, I think it's just criminal. ENIC, Daniel Levy, hang your head in shame that you had England's greatest ever striker. You had a star boy.
Excuse me? Sorry, can we bring
England's greatest ever striker?
There's someone called Wayne Rooney?
Okay.
Again, Liverpool fan defending Wayne Rooney.
Harry Kane is better than Wayne Rooney.
Okay, do you really want to go into this?
As a player, we know this is Harry Kane's moment right now. Let's just give him his flowers.
Okay, tell me something Harry Kane has that Wayne Rooney didn't.
He won the Golden Boot and Playmaker Award in the same season.
Okay.
He won a Golden Boot at a World Cup.
So individual awards.
Individual awards.
And
it's not Harry's fault that Harry Kane is cursed. I am convinced that Harold Edward Kane is cursed. And that's going to be proven when Tottenham win a trophy this season. His first game at Bayern, 3-0 loss against Leipzig. And I can't lie, I used to have Harry Kane slander will not be tolerated in my Twitter bio, but the way that we were making jokes on Twitter about him being cursed and him having like flashbacks of us not playing well, I giggled. Like, Harry Kane slander is not welcome, but I can look at it now. And he's the cursed player. He's going to see us win an FA Cup and be like,
no, I think it's the opposite.
Stayed for one more season.
I thought you were in black because I think your club's finished now.
Whoa. We are not finished.
I think you are.
We are not a finished club because...
I think he was the only thing carrying you. Son is washed.
Oh.
And you made him your captain. Harry Kane, you're probably the greatest player in your history, is left.
Yeah,
you're finished now. I had you down as 8th last week. Might have you bottom off the table now.
After Harry Kane, we are now entering the Ange Postecoglou era.
It's going to lead to even... I don't know, you can't get even less trophies, to be fair. So.
Yeah, we can't get any worse. And... the thing that I'm excited about in this Ange Postecoglou era is that we don't have these blockbuster managers anymore. Antonio Conte, you came, you failed. Jose Mourinho, you came, you failed. Nuno, can I count you? I mean, you did win the title last year in the Saudi Arabian League, so he's a winner as well now.
But have you not seen the trend that they all seem to win elsewhere, but it's just they have just one thing that links them all?
Harry Kane was at our club.
Oh, okay.
Harry Kane was at our club.
Right.
Is he the curse? We'll see this season. But the thing that I'm excited about, we don't have these blockbuster, sort of show-stopping, we think we're bigger than the club manager. We have Ange Postecoglou. I think, you know what, the way that he can just say, like, mate, at the end of a sentence, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Anything that he says, I'm like,
what a trophy. What a trophy.
That's such an original joke. That's the only thing that you can say. Because watching the Brentford-Tottenham game...
Oh, yes.
2-2. I have so much hope. I know that it finished 2-2. Romero, good goal, got a bit of a concussion and got subbed off. Hopefully he's okay for the United game. But then Emerson Royale, out of nowhere, what a strike.
After we mentioned him last week on the pod, didn't we? I was like... Yeah, no, and didn't you say you hated him last week?
No. I said that I used to.
Oh, is it just he scored a goal so you don't hate him anymore?
Emerson is a player who got ridiculed on Twitter because he spent £1 million. He paid like a football coach or like technical analyst to help him become better at football. Okay. And we ridiculed him because he was putting in like 2 out of 10,
of any promising
3
player.
out of 10 performances every single week. And then we signed Pedro Porro. Emerson Royale, whoa, my position in the starting lineup has been put under pressure. Let me just turn into prime Roberto Carlos. And that's what he is now. Emerson Royale, you have rocked my world. I am so wowed. And that strike against Brentford, I want to see more of that this season. He also scores only banging goals. He scored a brilliant goal against Man City last season. Yeah. We were actually 2-0 up at half-time. I was just shook. But we did end up losing that game. But he's good, and I'm impressed. But
so you're happy with the 2-2 draw then?
Happy with the 2-2 draw. There's just a few issues that I have with our players. Richarlison, I don't know how long I can defend you anymore.
R9.
I don't know how long I can defend you anymore. I I was actually going to bring my Brazil shirt that I have Richarlison 9 on the back. God. And I'm that shameless that when he made the 9 position for Brazil and Arsenal's striker did not, I was so shameless I put that order in and I bought that shirt. But there is only so much that I can defend that man. Because what do you bring to our team?
Nothing.
It's like we're playing with 10 men. And
really, really bad at football.
I gave him the benefit of the doubt. We're not playing him in position. And, you know, we always had Kane as our striker. But Richarlison, if I don't see something of you in the next couple of games, I mean, we have Manchester United at the weekend, but if I don't see something or even a bit of promise, then I'm going to start losing faith in Richarlison being a great striker for Tottenham Hotspur.
I think you should go further. I think you should start a campaign on Twitter because I would happily join in.
Oh,
I hate that guy so much.
No. I've defended him too much because I have all of these like comps of he's Brazilian, he only costs 50 million. Like, I love those comps. And when he scored that hat-trick in the pre-season, I was gassing it. I was like, yeah, who needs Kane? But we do need Kane. With Kane, we win that game. But, yeah, he's the issue. Son, you were saying he's washed.
He is washed.
I think he was a little bit lacklustre.
Little bit lacklustre, he's washed.
We subbed him off. We subbed our captain off.
Exactly.
I was shaken when we subbed him off, but also credit to Ange for making that decision, because not everyone can sub off a prolific player like Son, and
not everyone can drive out your all-time greatest player and make a washed player captain and then sub him off.
Okay, Son isn't washed.
That takes heroism.
Son isn't washed. I think he deserves to be Tottenham captain, and the reason why I think Son deserves to be Tottenham captain is because I think he loves Tottenham more than Harry Kane did.
Okay.
And I
say that... Is that just because no one wants him now?
No,
he's washed?
Listen. I'm not saying no one wants him, because every time Harry Kane has had transfer rumours come to him, for example, in 2021, when we had Nuno as our manager, we were quite a washed club, and we...
Still are.
Absolutely no need for that. Absolutely no need. He was entertaining that offer from Manchester City, and they just... put it simply, did not bid that 100 mil that we wanted for him. They went and bought Grealish. But he didn't turn up to training, and we were sort of like, this is it. Son, like, for example, when that bid came from Saudi Arabia, he came out to the press and was like, straight away, no. If I wanted to move, I would have moved. Yeah? Same as Christian Romero. Christian Romero at the end of this season said, this is where I want to be. I've had offers from abroad, but Tottenham is where I want to do well, and I'm looking forward to more games. Maddison only been here for like a month, and he's our vice captain. That partnership of Son, Romero...
I don't think that's something you should be proud of.
Madison. What a brilliant captaincy trio.
Okay.
I love it. I'm excited.
You know what? You're in mourning. I think I'm going to refrain from saying anything else. I'll let it be. But yeah, my thoughts on the Brentford Spurs game. I thought it was a really entertaining game, actually. I thought to be fair, I was impressed with Maddison. I think he played really well. Was it 2 assists or one?
Yeah, 2 assists.
2 assists, yeah. I think in attack you're exciting.
With Son and Richarlison?
No, with Maddison.
Oh, okay, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Even Kulusevski, not been wowed.
No, he's not looked great for a while. He started off really well last season. Yeah. But I think defensively is still shaky, especially if this Romero ends up being any more serious, then that's what Davinson Sanchez in then, isn't it? Yeah,
Davinson Sanchez, he didn't have a bad game, but just before we move on from the Spurs-Brentford game, there was a theory that I came across, the Ewing theory. It's E-W-I-N-G theory.
Just to be clear, we don't know what the pronunciation is, so if she's pronounced it wrong, please cook her.
Need no invitation for people to cook me on Twitter. But it was basically popularised by that former ESPN columnist, Bill Simmons. And he basically said that a star athlete that receives a large amount of media attention and fan interest never ever leads his team to any like meaningful success. Okay, we're talking about Harry Kane, leaves the club. And the theory is that the team exceeds expectations without him. And the thing that I was actually drawing a comparison to, I don't know if it's the same thing, but you're a Liverpool fan, is when Coutinho left you.
I mean,
he was a very, very good player for you.
Yeah.
He was also a very key player in changing the game.
Yeah.
He was a big, I'd say, goal/assist outlet for you.
So you're trying to say they take too much of the attention, too much of just general play, they hog it. And
then after he left, you saw some success.
Yeah. I can see that.
That's the only comparison that I could kind of bring for you at Liverpool. But I don't know. Like I said earlier, if Kane is the curse, if this theory rings true, you're going to regret the day that you even picked up that phone to Bayern Munich, Harry Kane.
I don't think he picked up the phone. I think they called him.
They agreed personal terms. He picked up as in, he would be like, oh, you want me? This is how much you got to bid. I agree.
I think it's a great move for him personally. Go out there, win some trophies. You're not going to do that at Spurs. And then you can come back in 2-3 years. Well, how many more goals did he need for the Shearer's record? 40 something?
Yeah, he's on 213.
Yeah, he can do that. He's not someone relying on pace.
50-ish goals, 40 something goals, 2 seasons and he's got it, I think.
Yeah, so I think brilliant move, Harry Kane. Don't listen to Davina. I respect it.
No, I still miss you.
Okay. All right. Moving on. So aside from our teams playing, there were a lot of other fixtures in the Premier League this last weekend, weren't there? Mm-hmm. So should we just go top to bottom? So Burnley City, thoughts?
Haaland, back in your old routine. Unreal left foot strike. I think he's just carrying on where he left off. I mean, towards the end of last season, he had a little bit of a dry spell, but he's carrying on where he left off. We joked about Kane being Golden Boot winner, Núñez being Golden Boot winner, but I think Haaland is pretty much going to take it.
Unless injury.
Only thing I had to say about Haaland, what did you think of Pep screaming at him at half time?
I think it's all for the cameras. Pep,
oh, really?
Pep, don't get me wrong.
The club
I'm sure
that employs Jurgen Klopp thinks that it's all for the camera.
I'm sorry. Klopp, okay, don't get me wrong. Klopp does show up for the camera as well. But Pep, have you... What's the famous Aguero one? We cannot replace him.
We cannot.
Erling Haaland.
Alan, we will be there.
I'm sorry, if you've got something to say to him, all you have to do is wait another 2 minutes to be in the dressing room. And then the little push to the camera. Oh, come on. It's all stage play. Yeah, theatrics. Come on. Also, I'm sure there was some kind of a message in there, but yeah.
Yeah, so I was sort of like, what more can the guy do? Like, I couldn't fault his first half. And Pep started screaming at him. I said, wow, got high expectations.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, I mean, City played well. I mean, to be fair though, Burnley, I think we both had them to stay up this season, gave a good account for themselves, had City in a couple of tough positions. So I'm excited to see how they do. But yeah, I'd predicted, I think 3-0 anyway. So comfortable City win. Yeah. De Bruyne out for 3-4 months now.
I know. Is he becoming injury prone?
I mean, he always has been.
But even more so.
I mean, he is getting older with age. I think he was also rushed back from he got injury in the Champions League final, and then there was no need to play him in that Community Shield.
In a row that he's just come off.
I reckon this will lead to the knock-on effect. I mean, they already wanted him or someone else like that anyway. I think City will end up getting Paqueta or someone like that now because De Bruyne is a massive miss.
Paqueta just doesn't.
Yeah, I know he doesn't
as much as Kevin, but. Yeah. Oh, do you know who also was a shining star, which he also was last season? Rodri.
Yes.
He is becoming...
Goal and assist as well. What can't that guy do?
Unreal. He's becoming my favourite non-Spurs player in the Premier League.
You need to stop this City love fest. Just stop.
City love.
It's not.
I love them.
Yeah. Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, 2-1. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal, fresh, full of confidence after the Community Shield win. Congratulations on your glorified plate. But Saka with a signature goal, cutting in from the right, curling strike into the far corner. Standard, Saka is still their star boy. There's a little bit tense finish to that game, though, when Nottingham Forest got one back.
Yeah. Ex-Liverpool player.
Yeah. It was very good. It was just... I hate to say it, but Arsenal will be finishing comfortably in the top 4. They played quite well.
Top 2, I think.
No, don't say that. I did predict them, but we'll see. The next interesting thing about Arsenal is they got Timber injury. ACL.
Yeah, I thought there were a few interesting things. I mean, firstly, the way they lined up, it was odd. Like Partey at right back, then drifting into midfield. I mean, fair play to Arteta, trying out new things. I I thought in possession Partey played well, but when they were out of possession, it didn't look as fluid.
Good, no.
And yeah, that's why Forest were able to pile a bit of pressure on them.
You're so right. When they were off the ball, they looked a bit lost, sort of like, where is everyone supposed to be? This is not how we usually play. And why change something that's not wrong? Like, that's been working.
Agreed. But I guess signs of a good manager always trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, I get that.
Although, what I am annoyed about is, why are you dropping Gabriel? I had him in my fantasy team. Like, so unnecessary. Like, it was classic FPL curse. I think he'd started like 35 or 40 games in a row.
Yeah.
All the FPL pundits are like, yeah, banker, get him in there. First game this season, I was like, my FPL's in the mud already. So Arteta, please stop this. Like, it was nice experiment Partey at right back. Let's just go back to basics now again.
He's Pep's like little prodigy, so
yeah,
changing up and messing up everyone's FPLs. Bread and butter to him, right?
But no, touching on your Timber point though, yeah, agreed. Like, I mean, injury-wise, he looked really good, but injury-wise, yeah, that could be a massive blow. It's not looking good.
Like, an ACL, that's quite unlucky.
Big blow.
So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Arsenal try and get someone else in.
I doubt it now.
You think?
Yeah. I think they have enough back there. I don't know how long Timber's out for, but it's going to be at minimum ACL, like 4 or 5 months, right? They have enough. I mean, Ben White can play right back, centre back. Zinchenko's there, left back. Tierney's still there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like
at Saliba, Gabriel.
I don't know how active they'll be in the transfer market now, but if they've got that injury, then they've still got 4 comps to play. Yeah. Champions League. They've got those 6 Champions League games to play between September and December.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a pattern of these right now, right? ACLs. I mean, touching on what's going on around the world as well. Militao's got one as well. I think Courtois was an ACL as well. Timber. I mean, I'm not a COVID conspiracy theorist.
Oh, come on, there's no way.
I'm joking. No, but it is. I genuinely, I think it might be to do with that mid-year, not mid-year, sorry, end of year World Cup. I think the players just playing too much nowadays, right? And then you're adding in this 10, 15 minutes added time at the end of each game. It's just ridiculous.
And the pointless international breaks. I mean, there's one coming up in September. It's just they are playing consistently a lot of football and at a really high level, especially these internationals which do rack up minutes every week for their club in the Premier League and the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup and the Champions League and then in the internationals. Like, it's a lot, and the players have actually come out and spoken out and said, the fixture congestion is way too much. It's not healthy. And I think what we'll see is, we'll speak about this later, about the leagues abroad, the ability for players to continue at the pace of the Prem will reduce, and we'll see more early retirements because you won't be able to keep up after playing so many years of intense football.
Yeah, either early retirement or just go to a league where basically is retirement.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's what I meant, yeah. So either retire early or go to Saudi, go to the MLS. Yeah.
Quick Bournemouth, West Ham. I had Bournemouth down as my, surprise package team.
Yeah.
Thought they played fairly well, although I expected West Ham to play far worse. They were actually okay. Mm-hmm. Bowen, really, really good goal.
Yeah, brilliant goal.
Apparently, he's going to be playing much further forward, potentially as like a false 9, even David Moyes was saying. So, could be a potentially good fantasy pick as well. They've got some new incomings as well. Alvarez. I think Maguire's fallen through though.
Yes, I heard that.
So, yeah, good from both sides. Just box standard 1-1 draw. Brighton. Did you have any points on the Bournemouth?
Not really. Just Paqueta. If he is going to City, he started. I think he did, and he nearly scored the winner off the post. But still not worth 80 mil. But
you really, really don't want to.
I'm all here for the Paqueta slander.
Brighton for Luton 1. Before we touch on Luton. I briefly, at the beginning of the last podcast, I mentioned that my second game ever was a Luton game. The family friend who took me to that game was very annoyed I didn't mention him by name. So shout out Kishore Patel for supporting and sponsoring Luton for 20 years with Barry Patel. They own Nisa stores and will actually be match sponsoring Luton's game against all of the big 6 this season, plus Newcastle. And he's actually been kind enough to give me and Davina tickets for Luton Spurs and Luton Liverpool respectively. So really looking forward to seeing the new stadium and also hopefully in a few years the new stadium in the town centre, which will be exciting to see. So yeah, shout out, and sorry for not mentioning you last week.
Yeah, thank you so much for that as well.
But in terms of the actual result, I mean, Brighton were great. Joao Pedro scored, fantasy pick.
I had so many people have them in their fantasy. I was like, oh, didn't cash in on that.
I think Luton were just naive, to be honest. You can't be playing that way away at a top quality side on the first day of the Premier League. I know you want to play in a certain way, but you have to be more conservative. Otherwise, you're going to get caught. Luton could have had 7 or 8. So Brighton could have had 7 or 8, to be honest.
I agree. I think, again, Brighton, much like Man City, have started where they left off last season, and they're pretty much adapting to life without McAllister, Caicedo, like really, really well. And yeah, I mean, Evan Ferguson, what a player. I think came on, scored last minute. I'm looking forward to seeing how he performs at Brighton, what he does, and I'm also still agenda from Spurs, keeping an eye on him, because I think he's an unreal, maybe possibly Harry Kane replacement.
Yeah, I think Gary Lineker touched on that in Match of the Day as well, and I'm scared to see what kind of fee he's going to command after all this Caicedo and yeah. But yeah, I could see that, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean,
you've got the money now. How much you got? 100 mil from Kane.
I feel like that's already been spent.
Spent on your other owner's jail trial.
Yeah, on his bail.
Yeah. Anyway, Everton versus Fulham, 1-0 Fulham. I thought, pains me to say, I thought Everton actually played really well.
Come on, you don't hate Everton that much. They're so irrelevant.
They're like, you know what they're like? They're like that little brother, like, who just annoys you.
Yeah, it's like Tottenham.
Like, I don't hate them. They're just really irritating, but like secretly, like, yeah, you look out for them, but you also want them to suffer some kind of pain.
They're not like a massive threat to you. It's like us and West Ham. Like, it's just, they're there, gross. But
they've won more trophies than you.
Listen, we went through this last season, the Conference League. We went through this in the last pod. Winning the Europa Conference League is not anything special. It's not a real cup. I mean, winning that Tiger...
Is the Audi Cup a real cup?
No, but what is a real cup? The Tiger Cup that we won against Singapore City Sailors, that we won, and Richarlison scored a hat-trick. That is bigger than winning the Conference League.
Okay, yeah.
Let's put that in writing.
Nice, yeah. Make sure to clip that,
Yeah.
I thought that Fulham were not great. I think Everton honestly dominated them. Should have scored. I think there was a goal disallowed as well for Everton, which I was a bit suspicious of.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the disallowed goal, because I did catch that on the sort of roundup they did after all of the games, and I think it's true. Like, the keeper basically fell onto Tarkowski, and it got ruled out. So I don't understand how that gets a goal disallowed, because in this day and age, you touch a keeper and it's a foul. I also think that there was a similar thing which happened in the Spurs game, that Vicario came out and like basically didn't take out, but had the intention of taking out a Brentford player. Yeah. And in another universe, that could have gone and given a pen. So it's sort of like, where is the line? And if you're going to make big decisions like that, you need to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for VAR, it just needs to be consistent. But all of that sort of controversy with that disallowed goal, touch keeper and it's a foul.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll touch on it later when we cover the United game, but the Onana stuff in comparison to that is just, there's no, like I said, no consistency. It doesn't really make any sense. Sheffield United 0, Crystal Palace 1. Again, Palace played well.
Largely dominated the game.
Yeah. Edouard got the goal, but I thought Eze was fantastic. Really,
very good player.
Really unlucky to miss out on a goal or an assist. Again, had him in my fantasy. Hopefully he kicks on. And did you see the little scuffle between Roy Hodgson and one of the Sheffield United players?
I saw that. It's unreal to see Roy Hodgson at his age still getting into it. It's the beauty of the Premier League.
Indeed. Newcastle Villa, perhaps the most entertaining game of the weekend. I thought, honestly, early doors for the first half an hour or so, it was Villa were right in it. It was 1-1 at one stage, but then Newcastle just blew them away. I really did think that Tyrone Mings' injury really played a factor. I think as soon as he came off, their captain, centre-back, I think they just kind of forgot really what to do. The defensive line was a bit all over the place, and Newcastle capitalised. They looked really good, big energy in midfield, like Joe Linton, Tonali debut goal,
unreal.
Bruno G was class, and Isak, what a player. I've been a big Isak fan. I actually had him in my...
FPL?
No, I had him in my... Well, I did have him for a point in my FPL last season, but I had him as a special card on FIFA 3 years ago. Wow. So I've always been
there since day one.
Been there since day one. Yeah, but he looks good. I mean, people ask me, like, why did he put Newcastle... I think I put them 5th. I still think that despite... honestly, if they play like this and their squad keeps fit, I think they will get top 4. I just think they will get hit by some injuries, and that playing in top 4 competition will catch up to them. But when they're at their best, it's so good to watch.
I love Newcastle's midfield. I mean, like Tonali, Bruno G, Joe Linton. Like, I think that is up there with one of the best midfields in the Prem, and it's very underrated. I think people don't think Newcastle... I mean, they're starting to think Newcastle are a threat, but personally, I think the top 6 clubs need to be starting to think of that as a huge fixture, especially going to St James's Park. It's a very difficult atmosphere to go to, very difficult team to play against, and they've just got such strength in front of goal. Like you said, Isak's
and
great.
Wilson off the bench, like
I mean, I've got him in my FPL. I was a bit worried whether to put Wilson in, because Wilson takes... Who takes the pens? Wilson?
Wilson takes pens,
Wilson takes pens. And then Harvey Barnes scored as well.
Yeah.
So they have, like we said last week, Newcastle have recruited very, very well. I think that they identified their weaknesses, and they're reaping the reward. They reaped the rewards for that in that game, because, I mean, 2 signings, 2 debuts for Newcastle, and they scored.
I have something to say that you might not be a fan of.
Okay.
I think Newcastle have replaced Spurs in the top 6.
Give it a rest. One good season. Okay, I'm sorry. Qatar, come and buy Tottenham, and then we'll have this chat.
No, I'm sorry. Newcastle aren't going anywhere. They're just going to keep getting better and better. You've lost your best player.
Newcastle are bigger than
Son
Tottenham
is
in
washed.
the top 6. Oh.
I genuinely... I firmly hold this view now. I think give it 10 years.
At least let them play in a European competition, and then let's see.
I mean, they are. They're in Champions League, and you're not playing any European football at all.
Have they played a game?
So what?
Let them play a game. Let's see how they do in the Champions League.
I can guarantee you now.
I think they get groups.
Spurs will not finish above Newcastle now for at least the next... for the next 5 years.
Oh. Wow.
I genuinely think era's come to an end, right? I mean, the top 4... Well, initially the top 4 became top 6.
Yeah.
And now I think the top 6...
Then they dropped out.
Everton were never in the top 6. They were there. They were like the next best, I would say. But I think Newcastle will firmly replace Tottenham in the top 6.
Let them have a shot at playing in 4 competitions, and then we'll see. We'll see. I think that's absolutely outrageous to say that Newcastle have replaced Tottenham in the top 6.
I think it's done, and I think you're just going to have to come to terms with it.
Absolutely not, because I just don't think that you understand how amazing this Ange Postecoglou era is going to be.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, so still on this game.
Yes.
Newcastle massively humbled Villa, 5-1. I know at the end of last season, there was a lot of shout of Villa are back, Villa are amazing, and they did finish the season very strong. They pipped Tottenham and Brentford to finish 7th. They've got Conference League football. Then they play Newcastle, first game of the season. Are Villa that good to deserve the hype that we gave them at the end of last season, or were Spurs and Brentford...
the beginning of this season? No, you had them down to win Conference League this year.
Yeah, I did. But that's because I don't think it's a real competition, and I think any English team, if you're playing relatively decently in the Prem, you can win the Conference League. So that's why I'm saying Villa, you can win the Conference League. But are Villa that good, or were Tottenham just that bad and they managed to finish 7th?
I think they are that good. I think, like I said, the first half an hour they were like what we would expect Villa to be playing like, and I think that injury did have an impact, and it was Newcastle at home, first game of the season. Everyone can have a blip, right? I mean, love mentioning this, United lost 7-0 last season to Liverpool and they finished 3rd.
Never let them forget that.
So yeah, I think we shouldn't worry about them. I think they'll be okay.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brentford, Spurs, we've covered that. Chelsea, Liverpool, covered that. And finally, United, Wolves. United were atrocious. atrocious.
I agree. United, I'm not worried about you. I am not worried about you one bit. United look shaky. I mean, I think they were very lucky to get those 3 points. Very lucky.
They shouldn't even have had a point. I think Wolves dominated them. Cunha, I hold my hands up. I apologise. You were sensational.
Yes, he was very good.
I had him potentially down as my underperforming player of the year, but he was very, very good. Although you should have finished at least one of those chances. And let's just I mean, United, one chance, one goal type of thing. Classic Jamie United. And then that incident at the end. Ooh. Onana, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Sorry, Onana.
This is Onana, Mark Goldbridge, better than Alisson or as good as Alisson. That is a blatant penalty. It's ridiculous. Like
he was about to take his head off.
You saw the way Fergie walked out at the beginning of the game. He'd definitely been back behind with a Howard Webb, I think.
There was like 3 referees spotted in the hospitality section. Classic United buying their way to points.
Yeah.
It was... I was not moved by how United played. At the beginning of the season, before I saw them play, I was a bit shaky. I was like, we have them, second game of the season. But saw some stats. Wolves had 23 shots. That's the most of any away side at Old Trafford since 2005. They played very well, and I drew the comparison that they played very similar to Bournemouth did last season. I think Bournemouth played quite well. They got some big results. So big up Wolves for the way that they played. Like you said, Cunha had a great game. Should have had at least 1 goal. But I also want to shout out Gary O'Neill because I think we both put Wolves to be relegated. And I think that, I know it's only 1 game, but the promise that they showed even in that 1 game, I think him as a manager does suit Wolves quite a bit, because I watched his press conference after, and what I thought was really refreshing was that Gary O'Neill said he will work with the players that he's got rather than complaining about the lack of transfers. And he said that, his job is more about coaching the players that he's got to be better, and I think that's really refreshing. And you look at managers like that who are at teams like Wolves, and then you look at frauds like Pochettino, who's just given all of the money in the world, all of the money in the world, and all of the players, and I really like how he gave that interview and how Wolves played, and I hope I'm proven wrong, and I hope that my prediction is wrong, that they don't get relegated, because I really liked watching Wolves play against United. Yeah,
no, agreed. I think United have to get much better. That was really, really abject performance. We'll see whether they improve. I mean, Onana was, I think, bar the blatant penalty, he was actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
Mount was okay. It played
again, nothing special.
And then didn't Lisandro get hooked?
Yeah, he got hooked.
Yeah, so
he got hooked, and he did some dirty tackle as well in the first half. And I was like, give it a rest. First game of the Prem.
Should we move on to our preview of the upcoming fixtures for this weekend?
Let's do it.
So we've got Nottingham Forest at home to Sheffield United. What do you got?
I think that's going to be a 0-0. I don't think that it's going to be an exciting game of the weekend, but both teams fighting it out. A point will do them both nicely. I'm going 1-0 Nottingham Forest. I think they'll carry on that home form that they had last season. Yeah. And I just think, again, Sheffield United, I had them down as rock bottom. I think they're not going to offer much. So I'm going to go 1-0 Nottingham Forest. Fulham Brentford. Fulham at home. Fulham, I'm interested to see, I know they signed Adama Traore.
Yes, on a free.
And I think he's a quality signing for Fulham. It's just a little bit weird to see him
link up with Raul Jimenez, the Wolves boys,
I just think it's weird because I remember all the big clubs he was linked with, and then now he's come back to Fulham. Yeah. Just in time for Fulham to play Tottenham in the Carabao Cup second round, but that's going to be fun to watch. I think Fulham... I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think they both have a little bit of firepower within them. I think that'll be quite interesting. 2-2. I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford. I think Fulham got lucky against Everton last week. And I think Brentford played well against Spurs. So they did play well against Spurs. I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford. Fair. Liverpool at home to Bournemouth. I think Liverpool beat Bournemouth 3-0.
I am gonna go. I'm gonna go 3-1.
Okay.
I think we just, as we're still leaky at the back, I think we've got a goal to concede in us. But I think at home, Salah will be hungry for a goal. I think 3-1. Wolves at home to Brighton.
I'm going Brighton 2-1.
I'm gonna go. I think there could be I think Wolves will play well, and I think
There'll be an upset.
because Brighton have these random results with them. They're just like, when no one's looking, they'll just slip up like what they did against Everton last season. They just randomly got hammered. I'm going to go 2-2.
Okay.
Tottenham at home to United.
Get my first home game of the season. Looking forward to that one. Saturday night football. I think based on what I've seen this weekend, I think. Again, high scoring, because I don't think either defence is massively convincing.
Yeah.
I think 3-2 to Tottenham Hotspur.
Whew. Wow. Okay.
3-2 to Tottenham Hotspur, yeah.
I'm going to go 3-1 United, and I'll tell you why.
Come on.
United have a good record at White Hart Lane. Oh, is it called what? It's Tottenham
It's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah.
Until we sell our souls and become like the Amazon Prime Arena or the Google Arena or something like that soon.
They do have a good record at the new stadium, don't they? I always remember it being like 2-0 or 3-1 or something, and Rashford. They've got, I think.
I mean, last season, just after.
It was was it 2-2 last season?
Yeah,
they were
it was
2-0
2-2 because we played them on the Thursday and then we played you on the Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was just after the Newcastle loss. So that was a little bit bounce back, and we came back, Kane and Son, second half, like really late on. But they don't have a amazing record at the top.
I just have some kind of inkling, and I think Ten Hag's going to have to give them a massive kick up the arse after that, what they came out with last week. City at home to Newcastle.
Oh, that's a game I'm really excited for. As much as I think Newcastle are very good, City are too much. 3-1 City.
I'm going to go 3-0 City.
Okay. I've put that goal in because I want FPL points.
Yeah, I think City will win. I don't know. Newcastle could get a goal, but I just think 3-0. I think City will just outclass them. I think. Villa at home to Everton.
Tricky one. I think 2-1 to Villa.
Okay. I'm going to go 2-0 to Villa. I think Villa will show last week wasn't they'll show that that's not how they're going to mean to go on the rest of the season. And I think Everton away from home it's nothing more needs to be said, to be honest. So I'm going to go 2-0. West Ham at home to Chelsea.
Ugh. West Ham playing Chelsea. That's just... Can I just... want them both to lose. I don't even want any of them to get a point. It's just pain versus pain. Who do I hate more? I want Pochettino to fail. So I think West Ham are going to upset Chelsea. Wild card. I think 2-1 West Ham.
I'm going to go 2-0 Chelsea.
Yeah, okay, fine.
And finally, the Monday Night Football, Crystal Palace at home to Arsenal. I'm really covering all of your worst enemies right now.
I know, it's all London derbies. It's just gross. It's no disrespect to Palace. It's just I think Arsenal are that good. So I think 3-0 Arsenal. I'm
going to go 2-0 Arsenal.
Okay.
Cool. So to round it off, we've got a segment called Round the Wall presents Round the World.
What a brilliant play on words. How clever are we?
So I think the biggest topic outside of the Premier League this week, or even in fact today, has been Neymar moving to Saudi Arabia.
I love Neymar as a player, and I think 31 years old, moving to the Saudi League, he's moving to Al Hilal, and I think it's very, very surprising. Firstly, as a point of, if you look at the point of view from PSG, I think it's the end of their Galactico era, and it's the end of their like big signings at the club. I mean, Mbappe is still there. what do you think about that sort of? Do you think Neymar leaving played a role in Mbappe sort of being reintegrated into that squad?
Yeah, so I think, first things first, with Neymar, I think such a talented player, like on form, on his day, one of the best players I've ever seen. I just don't think he's lived up to all of the expectations we've had for him. Should never have gone to PSG.
There's that quote, right? He's the prince that never became king.
Honestly, that absolutely describes this situation. I think should never. At Barca that season, he literally single-handedly carried Barcelona back against PSG. I know they didn't win the Champions League that year, I don't think.
Which year was this?
This was when, that La Remontada.
Oh, yes. No, I don't think they did.
But they won it either the season before or after.
They won it 2015 against Juve.
Yeah, the MSN. Yeah, that is like peak Neymar. If he'd only just stayed there, he would have been perfect. PSG's come out the limelight. There's been injury issues as well. Hasn't won a single Champions League since.
That's just... that's the thing. I think you can go to a league like Ligue 1 and win all the French trophies that you want, but it's criminal that Neymar in that team, with Mbappe, with Messi, with all the other quality players that PSG signed, like I said, in that Galactico era, for them to have had all that star power and not win a Champions League is gutting.
Ridiculous. And like when you actually when you actually think about it, fair enough, in the league, in Ligue 1 Uber Eats, I'm sure he had enough big moments and good goals and all that. But in terms of since he left Barcelona, does anything actually come to your mind of like a big Neymar like highlight, like a memory that you remember, like how you'd remember Lucas Moura scoring for Spurs and against Ajax, or I remember, the Liverpool comeback and how instrumental, like how good Fabinho was in that game, for example. Neymar is just, I feel like he's just, in terms of the consciousness of football fans, he's just not really been present since he's gone to PSG. It's just, which is just like, it's just like such a tragedy considering how talented he is.
Yeah, like I remember reading a stat, like he was 19 and finished 10th in the Ballon d'Or ratings. Like in like an era of where all of our favourite footballers growing up, like that's an unreal thing. And then if you're going to tell me that he would be at the age of 31 going to sign in Saudi Arabia without having won a Champions League in like 8 years, you would never have thought that. And I know he left like Barca because he wanted to be the main man at PSG and all of that. Like he never won a Ballon d'Or. Yeah,
and then look how that's worked out. He's gone to be the main man at PSG. Then he's been joined by Mbappe and obviously later Messi. And Mbappe's ended up basically forcing him out of the club because, like you touched on earlier,
basically becomes sporting director, managing director.
As soon as Neymar leaves, suddenly Mbappe has a massive change of heart, and now suddenly he wants to stay. Although I would not try to predict that situation. It could easily go the other way now. I don't. Mbappe's a different story for another day. But yeah, just sad to see Neymar bow out now, essentially to Saudi at 31. Don't know whether he's got another World Cup left in him, but that's probably the last time. That's probably the only time we'd see him back on that kind of stage again. So.
Yeah, I think, like you said, his most iconic moments has probably been like when he's playing international level football. I mean,
since he left Barca,
since he left Barca, like him for Brazil is probably more iconic than anything that he's done at PSG. And even regardless, the only time I ever hear like Neymar news is like when he gets injured.
Yeah, or exactly. Or when it's his sister's
birthday and he gets injured. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like it's really a shame. And I think for Enrique to come out and basically say that you're not part of my plans, it doesn't make sense to me, because I think Neymar is a great addition to any side. And it would be great to even see him in the Prem. I mean,
he's still a quality player. Like if things had gone slightly differently in the World Cup, he would have had the game-winning goal against Croatia and potentially taken Brazil. They were favourites, so it's not like in the space of 7 or 8 months he's just declined. It's just I think his mentality is not what it should be. He should be still aiming to be a big player in a big 5 league and try and still challenge the Champions League. Instead, he was going off to Saudi Arabia. So
it was just in terms of that sad Saudi Arabia deal. If we just compare it, so right now his contract runs until 2027, and he's earning £25 million annually. And when he goes to Saudi Arabia, I've got a few details on his deal. So he will earn 130 million per year.
Yeah.
he will get paid 430,000, I think it's euros or pounds, can't remember, per post when he promotes Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And for every game that Al Hilal win, he gets an extra 70,000. Oh, it's just, if you think about it, like that, I know that Saudi Arabia are buying the league, they're buying like fan bases, they're trying to buy sort of like consumers to watch that kind of football, but the amount of superstars going to the Saudi Arabian league, it's just unreal. And as a player, I know people are sort of like, how we weren't in Saudi Arabia at the age of 31, but when you're offered that kind of money, how can you say no?
Yeah. No.
It's just, it's unreal, yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of our podcast this week. Like I said last week, please make sure that you're following us on all of our socials, like, comment and subscribe. We appreciate all of the support. We've loved all of the support that we've got on like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and the feedback that you guys have messaged us as well. We massively appreciate it, so keep that coming.
And we'll see you next week.